Okay, next we're here on page 117. So it says to subtract mentally and write the method you have used. So it's important here that we try to think of a method that we can use to do this in our heads. So for this, we need to also include an explanation or show how we solved these problems as if we were doing it in our heads, and we're going to write it out. So let's go ahead and start here with the first one. This is a subtraction problem, and here it says 6,679 minus 498. Well, the trick I use here is to add 2. So I'm going to try to add just 2 here. That's going to make that 500. And if I add 2 here, I also need to add 2 here as well. Okay? So this ends up being 6,681. And that's going to be minus 500. And the next step, well, I kind of think of this now as just 681 minus 500. I could do that all in one step in my mind. And so I think the answer is 6,181. Okay, and for part B here, we see, we could use a different method for this one. Since they're kind of both close to 5,000, what I do here is I think how many to get back to 5,000. So to get back to 5,000, I know that's 13. Okay, and then what I do is I just count how many from this to 5,000 is going to be 8. That's the way I do it in my head. So I think total I have 13 plus 8. That's going to be the difference there. And if you have a different method, by all means, just write kind of how you do it in your head. So that answer is going to be 21. All right. And again, I don't want you writing out the arithmetic and solving it the traditional way. I want you to show me what kind of shortcuts that you can come up with, as if you were walking around and you couldn't write on a piece of paper and you had to solve these in your head. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one here. It says 8,247 minus 243. Well, for this one, I just look at this part right there. So I know it's going to be 8,000. That's obvious. I can almost do this in one step, but I'll just go ahead and write out what I do. I think this in my mind. That's what I think, right? And that looks like the answer to that is 4, right? So if I was to say the actual answer here should be 8,004. All right, and that does it for part C. And part D, moving on, it says 7,504 minus 467. Okay, so what I need to do here is subtract 4. And if I subtract 4 there, I also need to subtract 4 here. So this ends up being 7,500 minus 463, if that's easier. So then you can subtract, we know that it's going to be 7,000. And then you could kind of think, well, 63 plus 37, that's how I would do it in my head. I know that that is going to be 7,037. And I mean, Okay, next we're here on E, and it says 5,396 minus 385. For this one, I just take 396 minus 385. You could even go further and just say 96 minus 85. That also would work probably. So here I think, what is this? This would be 11, right? So the answer would be 5,011. Okay. All right. And then the next one, I'm looking at F here, and it says 7,658 minus 2,999. All right, well, I'm going to try to add 1 to this side, and I need to do the same to this side in this case. And let's see what I end up getting if I take 1 and add it here. It'll be 7,659 minus 3,000. Okay, and next we need to, well, what I would do here is just, I could take 7,000 minus 3,000, I suppose. That's one step I might do. I quickly realized that, yes, that's going to be 4,000. And I just look at the remainder there, no real calculation that needs to be made. So really the answer is 4,659. And that's how I do all of those problems in your head. This part here is very important to include, so make sure you include all of those shortcuts. Okay, so these are your answers for page 117. And again, make sure you include the explanations, or sorry, the shortcuts that you would use to calculate these in your mind.